Okay, great. Again, welcome to our 10th and final session for the ACE webinar series, What is ACE? I know many of you have joined our sessions before. For those of you who are new, thank you for joining. My name is Kimberly Hall, the Affiliate Director for the ACE Mentor Program of Baltimore, as well as the Strategic Partnerships Manager for MCCI, which is home of Build Your Path. Before we get started, I want to go over the agenda for today, as well as a few housekeeping items. As you all know from my emails, today we're going to learn a little bit about what the ACE Mentor Program is if you are new to the program, as well as hear from 3 wonderful alumni who have volunteered their time to speak to you about their experiences, and hear about the 2021 program year starting in January and what you can expect with that. Some housekeeping items. As I mentioned, we are recording, so please do keep muted if at all possible to keep the integrity of the recording for our students, parents, and teachers who cannot join us here today. If you would like to pose a question or make a comment, you can always use the chat box feature, which is located in the top right. And at the end of today's session, we will also have a Q&A. We'll be pulling questions for that Q&A from the activity section. That is located next to our time with the triangle circle button, and there's a Q&A portion in there. That is where we will pull all questions from. I'll give a reminder about that at the end, but feel free to make any questions in there. So with that, I'm going to get started. A little bit of overview of what is ACE. So ACE stands for Architecture, Construction, Engineering. Our mission is to engage, excite, and enlighten high school students to pursue careers in architecture, engineering, and construction through mentoring, as well as to support high school students' continued advancement into the industry after high school. So what does that mean? That means that ACE is your chance to learn about different construction industry careers and discover which one might be the best fit for you. And as I just mentioned in our mission, not only do we want you to discover which will be the best fit for you, but we want to help support you in making the steps to enter the industry through further education, job opportunities, and I'll expand on that more later. ACE is also an opportunity to connect with other students who have similar passions. And just like other extracurricular activities that are located at your high school, ACE is a free after-school program open to any high school student, grades 9 through 12, that have the curiosity and drive to learn about the various career paths in the design and construction industry. So that's who we are, but what will you expect if you join ACE? So as a participant in ACE, you're going to join a team of other students from your school with a group of adult mentors who are actually industry professionals. ACE isn't about describing their specific professions. So these mentors aren't there to just tell you about what they do. They want to show you by immersing you in the profession in an actual project. So you're going to work with these mentors, you're going to discuss the same issues and perform the same tasks as if you worked in the industry. With that, in working with the real professions, you're going to work in those real work situations and receive a valuable hands-on education. Learn to understand the day-to-day workings of what these professionals do in their job by experiencing it and living it, not just reading it. I keep mentioning the built environment industry, and as you heard from our name, architecture, construction, engineering, you are going to get immersed into a wide variety of careers, which we'll expand upon in a minute. But I want to emphasize that this is also an opportunity to dive through the path of the building trades. And for our students and parents and teachers on the call today that have been following along through the ACE webinar series thus far, you may have participated in last week's sessions on on apprenticeships and skilled trades pathways. If you haven't, their recordings are available, as well as recordings on architecture, construction, engineering. We've done a wide variety of deep dives. But this program is not just for those professional college career paths, it's also to explore the building trades. And as I said, in the program, you're going to work with those real mentors, but what does that mean? Who are they? There is a huge network of mentors that participate in ACE, specifically in ACE Baltimore, and the professions that you see on the screen or just some that you may come in contact with. But you are guaranteed to work with professionals in architecture, in engineering, and in construction, and likely with folks from the skilled crafts professionals, as well as from those allied or support professionals such as educators, marketing professionals, legal teams, financial teams, all those that make the built environment industry possible. So we know that you're going to work with a group of students and you're going to work with a group of mentors, but what do those meetings look like? Well, those meetings are groups of 5 to 6 mentors, as well as hopefully 10 to 15 students. You'll be meeting starting in mid-January and ending in the beginning of May for about 1 hour each week. Usually for our returning students on the call, you might remember that our mentors are meeting you at your school or you're going to the mentor's place of business. But this year, as we'll talk about later in the session, it will be virtual. But even virtually, the focus will still be on providing hands-on or real activities to learn the basic skills and knowledge of the industry, and then applying those to a realistic project, which again, we'll mention later. Through that project, you're going to get a hands-on view of how the concepts get transformed into the buildings that make our everyday reality. So after those 15 weeks of working on that project, how does it conclude? Well, for our returning students, you might remember presentation night, where you had representatives of your team present to a team of judges about the work that you completed on your project. This year, again, as I'll mention later, we will have very similar goals, but regardless, you're going to present projects to an audience of mentors, parents, students, and others with the opportunity to receive awards. Not only in participating in ACE can you receive awards, but you can also receive scholarships. As I mentioned in our mission, we want to support all of our students with their continued advancement into our industry. And one way that we do that is providing opportunities for scholarships. Each year, ACE Baltimore strives to provide scholarship dollars to our seniors, but ACE National also has scholarships. And for the past 2 years, an ACE Baltimore student has won significant funds through the ACE National scholarships. In addition, we have higher education partners that particularly reserve funds for students who have participated in ACE before and provide financial aid for that, and a wide variety of industry partners who hold scholarships, and we facilitate letting all of our students know about them. Similarly, if you haven't seen that already, we have a whole scholarship webinar on opportunities this year, and we will continue to update our students through our mentors about these scholarship opportunities as they continue through the spring. So you hear about what ACE is and some of the benefits of joining ACE and what the structure of the program will look like, but why am I here to talk to you about it, and why do our mentors show up and want to help you enter the industry? Well, that's because the built environment industry is one of the top economic engines of the country. And not only that, there is a need. We need students like you to enter the industry because there's a wide variety of professionals that are retiring. And with those opportunities, with those holes come opportunities for you all to create a very rewarding career. But while there are opportunities, you have to take this opportunity to start now, because by starting now, you're going to build a professional network at an early age with the mentors that I mentioned, which can only catapult you further ahead as you enter the next steps after high school. But not only are you going to network with our mentors, but you're also joining a network. You're joining a network of 9,000 students and 3,500 mentors, because ACE is a national program. I'm here talking to you from the Baltimore affiliate, but there are affiliates as close to us as Annapolis, DC, Frederick, Philadelphia, and all across the country, and now even internationally in Canada. So this wide network provides opportunities for, as I mentioned, higher education, financial aid, not just local universities and colleges, but those outside of Maryland and beyond. As I mentioned in our agenda, we're going to pass it over to our alumni to hear a little bit about their experiences in a second, but I wanted to highlight, lastly, again, the benefits of joining ACE. One, as I mentioned, those scholarships, but also there are job opportunities. You might hear it from some of our alumni today, but many of our students do receive job shadowing, internships, or even job opportunities through the connections that they make with the mentors. Also, the career guidance that they get. Of course, as I mentioned, you're going to be exposed to a ton of different career opportunities. So you're able to start at an early age identifying what pathway is right for you. And lastly, even if you decide the built environment industry isn't the best path for you, the ACE Mentor Program is a great way to build skills such as writing, problem solving, public speaking and presenting, teamwork, research development, and those skills can translate into a wide variety of industries. So now, as I mentioned, I'm going to pass it over to our alumni. We're going to hear a little bit from three wonderful different alumni about their experiences within ACE Baltimore, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what to expect for this program here. Let's stop my screen. So thank you to our alumni on the call today. First, I'm going to pass it over to Samantha. Samantha, if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about your ACE experience.
Hello, my name is Samantha Kogis. I graduated in May of 2020 from Eastern Technical High School. Right now, I am in college at Savannah College of Art and Design, studying interior design. At ACE, I learned how to network throughout the industry. I even got my feet wet within the industry. When I entered ACE, I originally wanted to go into computer engineering, which is completely different. So the hands-on experience really just gave me the experience to see what the industry is like as a whole. And then by my sophomore year, I knew I wanted to do either architecture or interior design. And then my junior year, I got more serious with interior design. My mentors gave me an opportunity to complete a shadowing that was about a week long, and it walked me through their process as well. It's pretty much the same process that the students at ACE have to go through for their projects. These mentors here are really amazing. They allow you to network throughout the industry as well. During my internship, I got to network with other professionals such as architects, urban planners, and people designing in sustainability. I am still in contact with my mentors. They still guide me. They still ask me how I'm doing. I tell them how I'm doing. And sometimes I even still ask them for advice. So they're not just a mentor during the project. They're a mentor always, and they're always willing to help.
Thank you so much, Samantha. We're so glad to hear that you're often doing well in your first year of college. I'm going to pass it over to another alumni that we have on the call today, Everett. Everett, if you wouldn't mind telling a little bit about your experience.
Sure. So my name is Everett Jackson. I've been a part of ACE for 7 years now. The first 3 years I was a student in the program while attending a high school at Mount St. Joseph here in Baltimore City. I can honestly say it has played a significant role in contributing to where I am today. I have always been interested in learning about professionals in the architecture, construction, and engineering industries. When I first joined ACE Club in my sophomore year of high school, I wanted to pursue a career in civil engineering. After meeting two Morgan State University students at our first presentation night that same year, I was made aware of the construction management profession. After my next year at ACE, I ended up getting an unpaid internship, kind of like a shadowing with a company called Plano Cowden to follow their project engineers and project managers around for a few weeks to see what it was like to have their schedules and what they do in their profession. Um, After finishing my senior year of high school, I graduated in 2017, went to Morgan State University, majoring in construction management. Um, in the spring of my first year, I found out that my major's organization, the CMAA, Construction Management Association of America, said that they wanted to start a new community service opportunity with members to go back to high schools and support the ACE mentoring program. So of course I jumped right at the opportunity to do that. And so now I've been with ACE mentorship as a mentor for 4 years. This is my 4th year right now. And the final thing, a big impact, I always have to mention this. Darius Johnson, the former ACE affiliate director, first contacted me back in spring of 2018. This was back when I was first going to go back to my alma mater to help with ACE mentoring. And so he ended up passing along my resume and helping me look for an internship. And he was the one who provided me the opportunity of a lifetime. He raised my awareness of an internship program with Southway Builders, construction company located in Locust Point, right here in Baltimore City. He wrote me a letter of recommendation, and the company provided excellent advice on how to make my first cover letter. Thanks to his time and effort, Southway Builders interviewed me for an internship position. I received the offer for a paid summer internship, and now here we are 3 years later. I'm still interning with Southway Builders over the summer and working part-time with them currently over my senior year of college. I'm very grateful for the role ACE has played in my development. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Everett, and so excited for you as you continue through Morgan State's program and with Southway. And our last alumni on the call today is Herbert. Herbert, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Hi, so I'm Herbert Lin. I graduated from high school at George Washington Carver Center for Arts and Technology back in 2015. I participated in ACE for 1 year in my senior year. But back then, I already decided to go to college for engineering. But since I already had an interest in building, but I really didn't know what field or how to pursue that passion. So after the ACE program, I got to talk to a lot of professionals. I learned about what they do, what they did, and they talked about a lot of sustainability, cost management, scheduling, and these are very cool subjects I never learned in classes. The biggest thing that got to me was the implementation of technology in construction, and that's where I found my passion. So once I went to University of Maryland, College Park, I majored in structural engineering and minored in construction project management. I took a lot of my classes and decided to focus on technology, how to use 3D programs, but I didn't really get a grasp of it until I started my internships. During my sophomore year, I was struggling to find internships with companies. So I decided to reach out to my old mentor at Wayne Turner. They remembered me. They knew that I had some basic skills in SketchUp because that's what I learned back in ACE. And they offered me to intern with them that year. I really enjoyed that. I learned a lot on the job skills and different programs, and I went back for a second year. After that, I graduated from University of Maryland in 2019. They offered me a full-time position with them, and I've been with them for the last year and a half as a VDC engineer up in Towson. So ACE Mentor Program, realistically for me, it was the first step in pursuing my passion, doing something I really like to do. And without them, I don't think I would be where I'm at now.
Thank you so much, Herbert, and thank you to all of our alumni. I hope this shows the variety of opportunities that ACE can provide in the variety of different industry sectors as well. But thank you for joining us, and again for speaking on your experiences. So lastly, I'm going to switch back over to present a little bit about what you can expect in the 2021 program year. A reminder, I'm going to spend a few minutes on this, and then we're going to open it up for some questions. The Q&A feature, again, reminder, is located in the activities button next to the time in the upper right-hand corner. Get this presented. Great. So, ACE Baltimore, we talked a little bit about the ACE Mentor Program, and as I mentioned, it is a national program, but what specifically can you expect for participating here locally in ACE Baltimore? On the screen, you will see a list of schools. These schools are where ACE has programs, or had programs, in our 2020 program year. Currently finalizing with these schools, we are expected to be in all of them next year. Students on the call today, I ask if you see your school on that screen, please do talk to your teachers about how you can get involved in ACE and who you should be talking to. Every single school has a school champion or a teacher, usually, that is helping lead the efforts to run the ACE program. So be sure to ask your teachers about how you can get connected, and we can get you signed up. I'll talk about registration at the end. Speaking on the mentor side, I talked about how there is a huge variety of mentors. Well, I just wanted to highlight briefly, and again, this will be recorded, where you can pause and take a longer look and do some research if there's anyone that you're interested in, about the wide variety of companies that participate in Baltimore. As you can see, there are over 40 companies here that are participating as mentors. And so a handful of those you will experience in your program. Representatives from those companies will be your mentors. But for any of our returning students, as you remember, when we were in person, we were able to have our industry fair. You're able to have conversations with nearly 30 of these companies. We're hoping to continue those networking efforts. But as students on the call, as students in the program, we want you to continue and advance through the industry past high school. So if there's a company on here that's working in our program that you'd like to talk to, always reach out, let your mentors know, let me know, and we're able to connect you all. So focusing now on what to expect in 2021. ACE is going virtual. So while we would love to be in person with you all, for the safety of all of you and our mentors, it is best that we do stay virtual. So while that will mean some changes for our returning students for the program of how you usually know it, we are still going to be able to continue most of what we normally do. So I'm going to walk through a little bit about what that would look like being virtual. So like you would meet after school, say in your school or at your mentor's place of work, at a certain day of the week, at a certain time, now you will log on, and your mentors will also log on at that same date and time. Mentor sessions are expected to be about 45 minutes to an hour each week, focusing really on learning a skill through a hands-on activity or conversation, and then applying that skill to the project. Each week, you will talk a little bit about your project and the work that was completed the week prior, and learn a new skill to build on it, just like you would if the program was in person. The one slight difference is, as we talk about the project next, you will be working on the project in smaller groups within your team so that every student gets a chance to be able to work on that project. So what is the project for this year? Drum roll, please. It is tiny homes. We are going to have the opportunity for every student to be able to design their own tiny home and answer to many different narratives that you can choose from, whether that's solving homelessness in Baltimore City and a solution that will work best for that, or creating a tiny home that is best for a family of 4 and how you fit all that in a tiny home, or for an individual who wants to be able to take that home on the road and travel often. There'll be many different narratives that you'll get to answer to and work with your mentors and your team to be able to design the best solution. So that will be the project over the 15 weeks. And then at the end of the year, our presentation night is going to look slightly different. Instead of presenting to the full group in person like we normally do, there are going to be critiques, similar to how you would in higher education when you would progress into college, you would have a more open conversation critique after your presentation. Then the mentors and volunteers who meet with you to discuss the status of your project will also submit that feedback to me and the rest of the ACE Baltimore team. So our presentation night, while it won't be presentations in person, we're still going to have a virtual celebration where scholarship winners will be announced, and there will be more awards and honorable mentions for individuals and teams to receive. I want to highlight a little bit about some of the changes, but a reminder that once you get into your session with your mentors and with the other students, all of this will be in more detail. Finally, well, before I go over how you can get registered and get started for this year, I wanted to highlight our new website, which is acebaltimore.org. This is a screen grab from that website. As you can see, there is a student section, which is still under construction, but shortly you'll be able to receive scholarship information and many resources there. But under the 2021 program year, you will also be able to access the recordings. I also want to mention at the bottom of acebaltimore.org, there is a calendar. That calendar provides information on sessions such as this, but also our partner sessions such as ACE National experiences that you can log into, or our partners such as Horde Copeland Mock, which is one of our architecture firms, is having an upcoming architecture design club session. So please feel free to take a look at that. In the chat box during the Q&A, I'll put the link to our website, but please make sure you continue to look at this as this is constantly updated with great resources and information. And finally, I want to highlight our program of Baltimore. You must register. For all of our returning students, you do know that, but I will be putting information on the student section of the website on how to register as well. You can also get it through your school champion in your mentors when the program starts. With that, you do need a parent consent form and to register to make sure that you are allowed to participate in the program. It's a very quick and easy process, but if you do not register, you unfortunately cannot participate, and registration is important to be able to facilitate scholarships. So is a big important thing that I wanted to highlight. But again, more details of that will happen when you get into meetings with your team. I'm going to open it up now for the Q&A session. I know it looks like we do have a few questions. Feel free to please place any remaining questions in the Q&A section as we answer them. Okay. So there is a question on other programs in high schools, CTE programs. So I do want to mention that in almost all of our schools that have an ACE Mentor program, there are courses related to the built environment, whether that be construction design management, whether that be architecture, whether that be project lead the way engineering, or a skilled trades program. There are opportunities for you to enroll in classes that would help support your learning and understanding with ACE. So ACE is a great way to test experiences and see if this is something that interests you, but to receive things such as college credit, standing advancement in apprenticeships, I do encourage you to talk to your guidance counselors about those CTE programs and other extracurricular programs that support the same mission of ACE Mentor. There was, Herbert, I don't know if you mind, there was a question for you in particular about what program you were in at George Washington Carver. Would you be willing to speak on that a little bit?
So I was in the carpentry program back in high school. My teacher then was Mr. Laverty, and he was the one that got me into the ACE program since usually at least 6 years ago, each class would have a chance to participate in this program, as it didn't occur after school. It was during school time for me. But I did learn a lot of construction, or at least basic carpentry practices then, and that got me into construction.
Thank you, Herbert. Yes, so that is one program. As I mentioned, those are some of the skilled trades programs. Some of our schools have carpentry programs. Some also have electrical, masonry, plumbing. Those are great ways because oftentimes they're also connected to an ACE program or a Skilled USA program, ways to further understand the built environment industry. Most commonly, your school may have a construction design management or an architecture program, which talks a little bit more about the design or construction management, even some civil and structural engineering concepts in a lot of those classes. Again, in the chat box, I am going to place the new website as well as my email. The website again is acebaltimore.org, and my email is khahr@acementor.org. I do encourage you, if you have any other questions that you would like to ask, please do reach out to me. Reach out to your teachers to get connected with the correct person at your school to talk about ACE Mentor and what to expect next. Your mentors will be getting started with setting up the logistics, as I mentioned, the day, of the week, the time, and getting everyone registered so that come January, we are ready for a seamless kickoff, and that we can get started on our tiny home projects. So again, please feel free to ask any questions. There are no more Q&A questions at this time. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you again to our alumni for presenting. I really appreciate you being here and sharing your stories. And thank you to all for joining and listening in today. Looking forward to an exciting January. Thank you all.